November 28th, 1997, the day of my birth. November 28th, 2020, a two-time League of Europe champion? We'll have to wait and see. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to League of Europe. We are here for Division 1 action. It is, of course, round 16 of the championship as we take in the Mexican Grand Prix from the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez. My name is James Head, and as you can tell, it's my birthday. Yes, I am now in double figures once again, 23 to be exact. And joining me in the commentary box is a man who's probably about half my age, to be honest. It's Mr. Daniel Field. Dan, how you doing?
Half your age I am, I'll tell you. That I'm 4 years younger than you, alright? Wait. My maths isn't correct, okay. Doesn't matter. I'm 6 years younger than you. Hello everyone. Happy birthday to James, of course. Can't wait for the Mexican Grand Prix though. We've got 17 drivers, but I believe Matthias is doing a practice lap, so at least we're going to have him showing up later on.
Yeah, it's going to be quite an interesting race, hopefully. Connor is also in as a reserve in the Red Bull, and I can see that in the lobby there. Last week, though, we are getting so close to crowning a champion. Tonight could be the night we could be crowning a two-time League of Europe champion. Montana, who took the crown in Season 2, against Alphatrix, who took the crown in Season 3. 33 points separate the guys out on track. 297 for Montana, 264 for Alphatrix. 33 points, as I say. Montana, he honestly needs to outscore Alphatrix. I think it's something like Alphatrix needs to get 7th, Montana to win, and Montana gets the championship here tonight. It looks likely, but I'm saying it might not be done until next week because of the fastest laps that we've of course got to add in. Montana though out on top, Alphatrix in second, as I've just said. Campbell in third on 93 points, but Daniel in fourth on 90. Suku in fifth on 88. Then a little bit of a breakdown to Verstappen in sixth on 73. Bolin in seventh on 72. Toxic in eighth on 71. Neo in ninth on 70. 4 points separating four drivers there for sixth. Rocco there in 10th on 64 points. Looking down the rest of the field, Cohen, Killerblue, Connor, Larkin, M. Short running off the top 15. Josesas, Dropier, Chapelelli, Josh and Kuka Games running off the top 20. Dakar and Matthias the only other two to score some points out on track. Montana obviously leading the championship coming into tonight, Dan. Alphatrix second. What has Alphatrix got to do tonight to hit back at Montana? Does he have to win this to prove a point?
I really think he needs a win under his name. He's not won since round number 10 in Hungary. It's now round number 16. That's 5 races without a win and a further 3 without a podium. Last time the podium was in Italy, so he really needs this just for the sake of having confidence coming into the last 2 races. Even if he gets 5th or 6th, that's not going to be good for him if Montana is winning the entire thing, so he just really needs to at least get a podium today, and I think he'll have a little bit more confidence coming into the last 2 races, and we can really see a good fight between the two of them.
Well, Matthias' practice lap has gone astray by the looks, because it looks like he now can't race. A name changer who is a reserve, brand new reserve. He leads the Valentari Racing League Championship. You were saying to me as well, he was former PSGL F2. I think he's in F3 this season, out on track. Name changer replacing Matthias then. That's going to be quite an interesting show, to be honest.
Yeah, Matthias is, he actually wanted to test his pedal. I'm not sure which one, but he's saying it's messed up, so looks like he's not going to be able to race, unfortunately. That has bolstered Name Changer in, and the reason he's called Name Changer is because he's had a million different names. I can think of about 5 off the top of my head. I think he was cool. He was in Fire Void Academy at one point. He was, I think he called himself Salesman for some odd reason, but yeah, interesting names coming out from Name Changer himself, but yeah, he is a very fast driver, and he did take a win in that F2 season, so I believe in Bahrain, which we saw qualifying in real life today, so definitely think that he could be one to ruffle the feathers off the top guys like Montana and Connor and Alphatrix, of course.
Yeah, it's going to be fascinating, of course. Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez, 18 turns do await these drivers out on track. Former baseball stadium where this race actually took place. There were 2 inaugurations as well before the current Mexican Grand Prix. One in the 1960s, one in the 1980s. I think the last race before it was now traditionally in its inauguration of its new layout was 1986, I do believe. Can you name, though, as a bit of a quiz question on my birthday, can you name, without looking at your phone, who won the last race in its former form in 1970? I'll give you a clue. It was a man that drove a Ferrari. That's all I'm giving away.
1970?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not too sure. I'm just going to guess with Jody Scheckter.
Jody Scheckter? No.
No.
I know this because I've researched it, and it's in the track information on leagueofeurope.com, f1leagueofeurope.com. Don't have a look at it. Spark and Chips, though, saying it is dry qualifying and a dry race, which is possibly very good news for us because we can try and bring you the action out on track. That man, though, Montana, is out on track first, and he's won the race out of the pit lane once again.
Well, Killer Blue's not going to be happy with that one. Let's see where he is out on circuit. I believe he is second, actually, on track. Yeah, so Killer Blue staying true to that. At least they're swapping wins, a bit like Cal Montana and Alphatrix were doing so earlier on in the season. Now it's the other Williams and Montana fighting for the first one out of the pit lane, so it's good to see those two still keeping it up every single race.
Yeah, Montana, of course, first being out on track. He will have a little bit of an advantage, I think, because he will be the first lap to set around this track. What, in terms of lap times, are we going to see around here? Because this is the first time I've actually commentated on this track since F1 2019, and the first track that I've commentated on F1 2020. How do you think these lap times will fare up?
Well, we're in the same boat that we've never commentated on F1 2020 around the circuit, but I'm going to have to say that we're going to see some 1 minute 12s, I think we'll get out tonight. Don't know what exactly, but yeah, I definitely think they'll be getting that. We'll see Montana, we'll see his pace, and then we'll just base a pole off of him.
And here comes Montana round the final corner through turn 18 and then down the start-finish line. Yellow flags in sector 2 and 3. Don't worry about those. Those are just drivers preparing up for their laps. Montana in access towards 210 mile an hour, reaching towards turn 1, brakes just at the 100 metre board, turns it nicely in through turn 1 and then through turn 2 and then through turn 3. They come quick and fast through the first sector and then on the run down towards turns 4 and 5 out on track. And the first sector split is coming now, 27.6 through the first sector for Montana, and he is now through turns 4 and 5, and then a double right-hander of 6 and 7. Looking good so far for Montana as he now comes towards this very twist and S section through 8, 9, 10 and 11. Montana absolutely flying through there, through 9, through 10, then through an 11 and 12. Looking really good on the power. That is quick through there. What is his middle sector split going to be? 54.3. Really quick through there from the Alfa Romeo man. The championship leader now comes into the baseball stadium as Rocco has retired out on track. I think he's crashed coming through turn 3 if I'm not mistaken. But Montana now around the final couple of corners. This is a really good lap. You might be right off the boards with a 112. Montana across the line. 113 flat. Do you know what? Yeah, I'll let you take that one. Montana with a 113 flat, and he's only 5 thousandths basically off the 112s, and that is a brilliant lap to start us off.
Yeah, and Killer Blue crossing the line as well. He managed to take a 1 minute 13.4. He was pretty much the same as Montana through the second sector, but now we've got some more drivers crossing the line, including a championship rival of Alphatrix. Not a good time from him. He finds himself behind his teammate. D. Daniel starts himself in second and Toxic in third, so they're all rolling out on the laps. Alphatrix is slowest of all.
Campbell going fourth there ahead as well of Toxic. M. Short is on a lap. He's just coming through the middle sector. Larkin Dakar now filtering behind Alphatrix, so luckily he's not going to be falling well down the field early on. M. Short, though, coming now through the baseball stadium section. Chapelani has just gone third as well, 113.3, 7/10 of a second, separating these guys who have currently set laps out on track. As soon as I said that, Cohen comes in with a 113.8. M. Short to the line. He goes second. He's a 10th of a second exactly off on Montana, 113.1. But he's got quite a notable advantage there over D. Daniel. That might be a hard lap to beat for second, possibly.
Yeah, well, M. Short continues to impress in qualifying, and I was just watching Name Changer. I believe he's just invalidated, but his original lap, he validated that one as well. He did a 1 minute 13.1, so already off the bat, filling in for Matthias. The McLaren driver is on fire at the moment, but of course, you have to actually finish a lap and make it valid to have it count. So he's going to have to come back into the pits. He's got no ERS and no fuel left in the engine, so he's going to have to come in. But we've got Connor coming through the second sector, through this fast S's section, so to say, and he's doing really well for himself, right on the limit.
Wow.
In that Red Bull car, filling in for just 8 hours. Let's see his second sector split. He is pretty much the same as Montana, if I'm not mistaken. He needs a banging third sector if he wants to be close to Montana. So now coming through the old stadium section where they used to play baseball all those years ago, and now at the final corner where Bottas of course crashed last year. Here it is for Connor, and he goes 1,000 slower. Oh my goodness.
He was a 10th off Montana in the middle sector. So how on earth he's made that time up in the final sector is beyond me, because there's not many corners, but it's quite a technical twisting section. Connor goes second. That is a tremendous lap from the Brit, and he now puts it to Montana. Like last week, of course, they are up for another battle out on track. Kuka Games is on a lap. I think, though, he's going to be coming back into the pit lane because Zizzle has invalidated as well. Verstappen, interestingly, the only driver out on track, currently in 9th, the only driver out on track to set 2 laps on that same set of soft tyres, and he's only behind his teammate by 300ths of a second.
Well, that is certainly interesting from Verstappen. If he ends up qualifying in the top 10 on that set of tyres, which I do think people will beat, it is possible that he will struggle when it comes to tyre wear later on in the Grand Prix, but yeah, I'm not seeing that as being an issue for him.
Very lovely from Suku, just right on board with him through turns 1, 2 and 3, flicked it through very nicely indeed through the first sector. 27.6 there or thereabouts in terms of Montana. That's a purple first sector from the pole, and Suku does like to set his consistent lap times in qualifying, does he? Because he's been quite consistent these last few races. 2 third place finishes to his name, I think, this season as well. Can he put it on the line here and try and trouble Montana?
Yeah, well, I definitely think Suku has the capability to do so.
Quick.
He didn't have... Oh my goodness, yeah, that is absolutely tremendous.
Oh!
It's a little bit over, actually.
He's only 2 tenths off Montana, a tenth off hardly a tenth off Connor. This could be quite close. If he finds the time in this final sector, Suku could be finding himself with a really good lap here as he now comes around the final corner of the Ferrari to the line. He goes 4th. 113.191, and he's 2 tenths of a second off Montana. Not a bad lap though, and we already see 8 tenths per second separating the top 15 out on track. Joom is on a lap, just coming through the middle sector as well.
Yeah, it's looking quite clean for Joom. On his return, he's been replaced by Connor for the past couple of races, so he's going to be fresh-based really in this series for a couple of races. Let's see what he does through the second sector. So 54.7. That's not going to set the world on light, and he's actually invalidated there. That's unfortunate for Joom. Just a fraction wide, completely ruined his lap.
Gone ball with D. Daniel through the first sector. It's purple. Not sure what his first sector split was like, but we'll see the Ferrari man as he now comes through turns 6 and 7. This double right-hander. Think of it as 2 corners out on track, because that's what it counts as in the track map. D. Daniel now coming through turns 8, 9, 10. And then towards turn 11, a little bit of a squirrely moment there halfway through the S section. He's flying through there, though. This is a good middle sector, I think, from D. Daniel. 54.5. He's a 1800s up. Coming through now into the baseball stadium section. D. Daniel now has to really put an intra-consistent lap. Can he beat his teammate? He's got a tenth to find in this final sector. I think that rub of the curb, though, might put him down on his time, possibly. D. Daniel ran the final corner across the line. He barely improves, 200ths of a second in the end. We've got name changer on a lap as well coming through the final sector. I think he's going to get a lap in, but he's backed off. He's going to go for another one.
Yeah, so this is where we can really see him shine. I believe he validated that quite early, but you can see blitzing it down the straight. We're going to see some absolutely astronomical speeds. He's at 200 miles per hour now. He's got a car just coming out of the pit lane. That is a Racing Point car. Now through towards turn number 1, and he's taking that really clean, big lock up through there, and he's almost invalidated that one. He is right on through sector 1, and a bit of a slide coming out the corner could cost him a bit of time, but DRS is now open for 1 of 3 times on this lap. Ooh. It is 2 tenths quicker than his first sector, 27.6. That is quite a fast sector, and I believe that is Cohen just crossed the line, name changer's teammate for this race, setting a 1 minute 13.3. Good time from him, but we'll put tunnel attention back to Name Changer now up towards this fast flat out sector. You can see how he's putting it all on the line. Just a little bit of a flick down into sixth gear.
Beautiful. This is quick.
Get all the, oh my goodness me, yeah, it is quick. Oh wow. 54.3. What? Yeah, that was a bad run through there for him. Now up towards the yeah, I think he's backed off on this one. It looks like
he hasn't. He's going for it. I think he's going to trouble Montana, I think, with this. Name Changer towards the line. He can go quickest. Cross the line. Oh, he's short. Quite short. He's literally behind M Short out on track. 113.1 for Name Changer. Really good lap, though. If you can find a little bit of consistency coming through that final sector, especially through turn 13, that could be a pole lap right there. He just needs to find the time in that final sector.
Absolutely, and he has that time as well. He made a big error. He could have definitely gone quicker. There's Alphatrix across the line. Just going a little bit slower than Connor and Montana. These three really ruling the roost, the big three, it seems, of League of Europe Division 1. So brilliant lap from Alphatrix, but it's just not enough to pit Montana.
Montana is right in behind Toxic. I think Toxic might be on a lap here, and Montana is trying to get the toe off Toxic, and he's weaving. He's been blocked on this quali lap. He's a 10th up. They'll do the first sector. He locks up, and it's so difficult to have a driver in front who is currently on a lap as well. Montana, I think, may as well back off this one, because I do not see him improving on this time at all, and that's exactly what he's done as he tries to find himself that little bit of time and that little bit of the little bit of space out on track. For Montana, who was a 10th up through the first sector, just got right on the back of Toxic in the wrong place at the wrong time as M-Shot was quickest.
I did not see that one coming. Jeez.
112.8. You did say 112, so I'll give you that. Definitely M-Shot now into the 112s. Just seeing if there's anybody else on a lap. I think Connor is on a lap. He's 2 tenths up through the first sector. So Connor really responding here. The track will begin to revolve. As now Connor comes through, turns 9, 10, and then through 11 and 12. This is on the money. This is quick from Connor as he now comes through the middle sector split. 54.1. He is absolutely charging out on track as long as he doesn't invalidate through this final sector. This is pole position right here for Connor on the line. Connor now coming out of the final 2 corners through 17 and then through 18. Got a little bit wide, but he's going to go pull by quite a way. Cross the line, 112.7, and he's a 10.5 quicker than M Short. Montana, Alphatrix, there's your response.
Well, that was quite unexpected coming out there from Connor. Brilliant lap time from him. Now Montana relegated to the second row of the grid, and the 2 championship leaders sitting on row 2. I doubt that will stay the same for long, because those 2 have more time on their hands and they can certainly go quicker than what they've done at this moment in time. I believe we've got some drivers on a lap. The 2 Ferrari drivers out in the first sectors of Red Bull, but that is Connor actually going a little bit slow, just letting both of D. Daniel and Suku go through it. D. Daniel on his lap first, and Suku in behind, so he might as well follow the 2 Ferraris. They only got 11th and 12th in qualifying in real life today. We'll see if they can improve on that. They're sitting 6th and 7th at the moment. A good qualifying for this team could mean wonders for them. Very consistent drivers in their own championship, and that was a brilliant run from D. Daniel. Now let's see what he does, and it's a 54.3. This is almost 2 tenths up on what his previous best is. This could see him challenging the likes of Montana and Alphatrix if he can nail this final sector. So now, coming up through the last 2 corners here, this is looked a really clean lap from D. Daniel, the Dutchman. Crossing the line. He does have 113.1. What about Suku here now crossing the line, and he goes slower than his teammate by 3 thousandths of a second.
Really close. They go on to the 3rd row of the grid for now. Name Changers came out the pit lane. Montana now is, I think, no, he's still in the pit lane. What am I thinking? Connor is the one that's coming into the pit lane. He's out on top currently with 4 minutes to go. Goodness me. Might be my 23rd birthday, but honestly, I think I might be getting dementia. Connor out on top from M Short in 2nd. Montana 3rd. Alphatrix in 4th. D. Daniel 5th. Suku in 6th. Name Changer has just started off on a lap. Let's run on board with this one and see what he can do on the run down towards turn 1. Remember, where we said he can find the time, sector 3, especially through turn 13, is where he can find the time out on track, and then through turns 1 and 2, 3 there. Absolutely brilliant. He's sub 22 seconds through the DRS zone, so this is a quick first sector from Name Changer across into the first sector split, 27.5. He is up on his time already. And now he comes through turn 5 and then through 6 and 7. Oh, a little bit wide there. Onto the AstroTurf. Caught a little bit of a half spin. But now Name Changer, who is coming through now turn 8 and then into the S section through 9, 10 and 11. And he's invalid coming through turn 10. He just got too greedy with the curb. He's going to be frustrated, I'm sure, with that. Wouldn't be surprised if he's banging his hands on that wheel right now. Name Changer, literally, as I say that, I think he's just gone wide and banged his hand on that steering wheel of his. But Name Changer not on a lap, and he's going to go into the pit lane with 2 3/4 minutes to go.
Yeah, the Flying Finn has exhibited his pace. He just really cannot hook up a lap together, and this is just going to be detrimental for his Grand Prix if he can't find a way through the field. The men sitting in 7th and 8th is Chapelele and Name Changer, both F2 drivers in PSGL last season, so these guys, they know each other well and they know their strengths and weaknesses, but Montana just begun on a lap.
Oh, Cohen's invalidated as well. Coming through, we just rode on board with Kuki Games and Cohen from my perspective. Both of them invalidated at exactly the same point through turns 2 and 3, really catching them both out, and they have only got one more bite of the cherry out on track. We'll flick on board them with Montana if we can. My graphics on the left-hand side is broke, so I'm having to flick through to Montana the opposite way. 4,000 up through the first sector from Montana, as he now comes through turn 5 and then through 6 and 7 to try and control the car through here. That is quick, saving all the ground there onto the curb. As he now comes through turns 8, 9, 10 and 11. This S section now awaits. He runs wide. This is looking a little bit shoddy through the S section, if I've got to be honest. Montana absolutely flies through there, though. This is not looking the greatest lap at all for Montana. He's 600ths up. He needs to find a lot more time in this final sector to have any sort of chance. That ahead of him, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, is Kazizel on an outlap. Kazizel and Montana go a long way back in a former league that I used to commentate on as well. Montana out of the final corner, comes across the line, and he goes second. I was expecting a barely improving time there from Montana, but he goes second. Alphatrix, 200ths down through the first sector.
Yeah, it's not looking the greatest lap, and he's got some traffic up ahead of him. That's Larkin.
These guys.
And I believe there's quite a few actually up in front of him. There's a McLaren of Cohen just in front of him as well. That could actually be Name Changer, but I'm not going to check as now just coming through at turns 10 and 11.
Oh, no.
Oh, bad run through there. And he's invalidated his time, and he's probably not going to get another opportunity to put in a lap, is Alphatrix. So I think the qualifying might be over.
That downshift to 6th really cost him. It just unsettled the car slightly, coming through 11 and 12. And so unfortunate, I think, for Alphatrix, because he was improving on that lap time across the line. I mean, he's at a 1:12.9. It would have put him still 4th. But we're trying to see if there's anybody else on a lap. Name Changer still 7th. Kuki Games, I think, has just gone into 8th. Good lap from him. Daka on a lap, 1300ths down. Toxic now up into 8th position. As soon as I say that, Campbell is up into 8th position as well. Daka 300ths up, though. Coming through the middle sector. And now in towards the Baseball Stadium section. Misses the curb slightly through 15, then through 16, and then towards the next right-hander at 17, and he gets caught out wide, and that's an invalidation from him. Killer Blue is all the way down in 18th position currently. He's through the first sector. Now through turn 3, I thought he was actually further on his lap than what it made out to be. Montana into the pit lane, not improving. Connor holds the cards currently, but M. Short is out there on a lap and he's 600ths down. Coming through now the final sector, through 15, through 16, and then towards 17 and 18 out on track. M. Short has got to find the time. Can he put it on Paul ahead of Connor? No, he doesn't even improve in the end. Neo improves ahead of him. Alphatrix cuts the corner in frustration. He's invalidated again. 5th position is the best he can hope for. Daniel is down. Suku as well is down, I think, on his lap time. But Daniel now coming through the middle sector. We've got Name Changer across the line. He bangs the wall in frustration there. Right side end plate down, just going off that car. And 13.1 is the best he can hope for. Campbell is down on a lap. Suku's invalidated. Daniel coming out of the final couple of corners. He can try and put it up there with Neo and Alphatrix possibly. Daniel now around the final corner, comes across the line. Doesn't improve, a 10th off in the end. There's not many improvements to be found. I think that might be it actually in qualifying. It is. That is it, because I don't think anybody else is on a lap. And Connor out on top, Montana second, M Short third. Championship rivals Montana and Alphatrix second and fifth.
Well, it was quite unexpected to see Connor take pole by the margin that he did, over a tenth clear of Montana, but fair play to Connor. He's exhibiting why he is probably going to be a title contender next season if he does choose to race with League of Europe, which I definitely think he should, because why wouldn't you want to? But yeah, if he definitely does an entire season, he will be one to watch. 3 starts in Division 1 this season and 3 second places. Can he convert that podium streak that he's got into a win? We'll just have to find out. He's got to fend off a charging Montana who has time in that lap. We saw him through the first sector when he got blocked by Toxic, who was on his lap, and we're not blaming Toxic at all for that. I don't know who we're waiting for at the moment, but Montana, he definitely has more pace around this circuit.
Just waiting on Toxic to retire. Literally, as I say that, there's the qualifying result. Connor out on top. From Montana in second, M Short third. Neil, really good qualifying from him in fourth, with Alphatrix in fifth, D Daniel in sixth, Suku seventh, Kazizzle in eighth position. The Esports Masters League winner, of course, of Wednesday night in Premier Division. Name Changer in 9th with Campbell in 10th. Toxic in 11th with Cohen in 12th. Kuka Games 13th. Verstappen 14th. Killer Blue 15th. Chapelelli 16th. Dakar 1,000th off Chapelelli in 17th. Larkin in 18th. Rocco and Doom not getting any times in at all. They're down the back of the field. But to be honest, we come to expect a very close qualifying here in Mexico. 6.5 tenths separating the top 18 drivers. Just less than that, in fact.
Yeah, well, again, they're all just so close. Doom and Rocco weren't able to put in a lap, but if they were, they probably would have been in that 6/10 window that we have seen so far. But we are going to get into the race. Qualifying goes completely out of the window, and you're right there.
Toxic has just put in the Discord. It's like an with the traffic. It's just speaking about the traffic in qualifying. It's like the M25 on a Monday morning. I like that.
Brilliant.
I like that. It's pretty much like any motorway, I think, on a Monday morning out there on track. Yeah, really decent one. Yeah, we've got the A1 up here, so we can try and relate to the M25. Well, different sides of the country. Yeah, you can get over it. I'm not good at geography. I failed geography at school. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm alongside Dan, for God's sake.
I always like to mention it as a Tesco car park, because Tesco is always quite busy. So anyone who's a foreign viewer is going to be like, what's Tesco? What's the M25? The M25 is a motorway in the UK, and Tesco is a shop. So that's just a little bit of a clarification. Can't believe this is what the Division 1 has come to. We're just talking about Tesco.
Well, hopefully it doesn't end up like a Tesco car park running down in towards turn 1. Especially with that Constantine effect that we could see running down into that corner. I'm terrible, honestly, with these puns. It's a Saturday night, it's my birthday. Yes, I'm, well, not drunk, but I am a little bit hyper. So there we go. I've had a bag of heroes. A big bag of heroes as well. Yeah. You'll know what I mean if you've had heroes before, the chocolate. There we are. We are now onto the formation lap out on track. Just seeing some of the comments coming through. Plenty of support from the former FRL drivers, actually. Montana, looking further down the fields, Kazizzle, name changer, current championship leader, of course, in FRL, and, of course, a few others. Rocco along that as well. There's a predicted pit stop strategy. Now, a two-stop strategy, lap 10 to 13 on a set of softs, going then onto a set of softs, and then onto a set of mediums to lap 21 to 24. How do you see, because Mexico, I think of it as quite a high degradation track, so that predict the pit stop strategy, don't trust that, I don't think, because these guys might be in earlier than that.
Yeah, 10 is a bit late, I would think, and of course it's a very high altitude track, so it's quite thin up here in the air, and it tends to have quite a lot of tyre wear in real life. I remember the tyres were kind of melting last year in Mexico. I don't see any drivers just having no tyres at one point, even though that seems to be a common occurrence. I'm noticing whenever someone crashes out, regardless of how they do it, their rear tyres always seem to fall off, so hopefully we don't see any of that today.
Everyone on a set of mediums, apart from Chapelelli as well, down in the bottom half of the field. Chapelelli in 16th. Disappointing, I think, from his standards. He's been well up there within the recent weeks. Can he try and make an impact on that sort of hard compound of tyre? And can they, more importantly, make it towards the soft window later on in the race?
You know what? I think it might be a definitely could be. But I'm actually kind of wondering if the two-stop is a viable strategy. Looking at the track map, the pit stop doesn't actually look that long. So could we be okay in that sense in saying that a two-stop is viable? I can actually get some stats up, but just after the start, really.
Top 3, quickly.
Oh, my top 3. I'm going to go with Montana, Connor, Alphatrix.
Montana, Connor, Alphatrix. That's like a bog standard one that I normally go for. We see the intertwining energies have now worked. We are now about to get going. 36 laps await these drivers here for the Mexican Grand Prix. Round 16 of the championship here in League of Europe Division 1. And Alphatrix and Name Changer have got a drive-through penalty off the start, but it is light 10, away we go, and Connor gets a good start. Montana has already been jumped by M Short on the run down towards turn 1, and we're already going to get 3 wide on the run down towards turn 1. M Short cuts off Montana. Montana trying to get up there on the inside line. Connor right around the outside. M Short could have the lead here, but Connor hangs on. Connor hangs on to the lead of the race. Neo fighting with Montana. A little bit of contact between the German and the Swissman, and M Short's got a tremendous run. Name Changer is round. He's in contact, I think, with Campbell further down the field. M Short though trying to go around the outside of Connor in towards turn 4, and at the end of sector 1 it's Connor who leads. M Short second, Neo in third. A little bit of a drop down of the field. Larkin has gained a few positions up to 12th from 15th. Cohen has dropped down with Schiaparelli. Alphatrix has got a 5-second penalty for corner cutting and gaining a position, possibly because of somebody spinning. Name Changer possibly, but Connor leads the way out on track from M Short in second, Neo in third. 6/10 of a second for the lead. Neo in third. Montana down to 4th, and his championship rival Alphatrix all the way down in 9th position, but this is not good enough so far for him to wrap up the championship.
Yeah, of course he needs to outscore Alphatrix by 18 points, I believe it is, yep. But further back down the order, it is like a rugby scrum, but what a disastrous start for Alphatrix and Name Changer, getting a jump start. Connor, of course, second fastest lap of the Grand Prix. All of this position changer, don't worry about it. Alphatrix now coming into the pit lane to serve his stop-go, and he's going to be way down the order, almost in last place. Cameron also pitting as well, which I'm a bit unsure of.
Just trying to see who was going side by side on the run down towards turn 1. There was somebody trying to look for a move. I think it might have been Killer Blue on the back of Kazizel, possibly for 6th and 7th. Actually, that's totally wrong. Out on track. Killer Blue further down the field. We'll see the change of the orders happen. There's Campbell coming out the pit lane. These, honestly, are ridiculous, these graphics changes. They're getting me so confused. Come on, man, fix yourself. Name Changer, there we go. Connor leading the way from M Short in second. They're currently showing his 3rd and 4th, but Name Changer and Alphatrix have both been into the pit lane, as well as Campbell. Campbell further down the field in 20th. Looking further down the field, the two Ferraris look like they're getting quite close to the back of Montana. D. Daniel certainly on the back of him as they fly through the S section for the second time out on track. Not on lap 3 just yet. DRS is not enabled just yet, but you can see down to the right hand side there, they could have used up that DRS detection zone on the run up towards turn 12. And I think around this track, if I'm not mistaken, there's 3 DRS zones.
Yeah, I believe one was just added for this game on the run-up, I believe, to turn number 12. But, of course, now DRS has been enabled, and that is going to give the advantage to guys like M Short and Neo. If M Short can reel in Connor here, then he can be within a chance of taking the lead of the Grand Prix. Both very similar on their level of ERS. They are on lap 3 and they are at half ERS usage, so yeah, they are really draining those batteries. But further back down the order, Montana having a bit of slide there. I'm not sure if you caught that or not, but DRS should be enabled, so I believe they don't get it for this straight though, because the detection point is the same, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, same detection point in Sector 1. The next time they will get the first time they'll get the DRS is probably through turns 11 and 12, where that DRS detection zone is, coming through the S section. Looking, though, at Kazizel. He's right on the back of Suku and D. Daniel, doing a good job, fresh from his Esports Masters League Premier win, of course, on Wednesday evening for FRL Esports. Connor, though, leading the way from M Short in second, Neil third, Montana fourth, D. Daniel fifth, Suku sixth, Kazizel in seventh, and the soft runners just beginning to pull away, but we should see soon the switch from the softs to the mediums. Verstappen, Toxic, they're 1.1 seconds off. If these guys get battling, they're going to be on back of this quite easily, I think.
Yeah, and with that free choice of tyre that they got from starting outside the top 10, they've opted for the mediums, and they'll have much more free range when it comes to the strategy and time to when they come into the pits. They'll be able to go in longer, and they'll have better tyres for a longer amount of time, so it's really crucial for these guys to keep with the front runners, but they are beginning to drop back. Verstappen doesn't have DRS on Kazizal up ahead, so all the soft runners from first down to 7th are going to be pulling away all the medium runners behind.
Chapelletti right on the back there of Kuki Games. Rocco getting all out of shape behind Cohen. He was trying to catch back up into 14th position. Rocco on that set of mediums, struggling to get past the Dutchman just ahead of him out on track. The top two have now begun to sprint away. 5/10 of a second is the lead. Connor to M Short. Neo in third. He's just out of the DRS zone by a second. Montana there in fourth with D. Daniel and Fetsuku sixth. Kazizal in seventh. Neo, the first one to pick up a 3-second time penalty out on track. That penalty, by the way, for Alphatrix is a 5-second penalty. I believe that is not a stop-go, so it'll only be added on to the time at the end of the race, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong, though, in the comments, and I'm sure Dan is ready to correct me as well if I'm wrong on that. But Connor leads the way at the end of lap 4, and so far it's been quite a stalemate, to be honest. We haven't seen many overtakes, but Montana has just set the fastest lap of the race, and we might be able to see an overtake now as he's closing right on the back of Neo and absolutely sails on by. Both of them, I'm assuming, using up the DRS, and that is the overtake mode against no overtake mode there at all, and Montana is throwing it up into third.
Yeah, the sheer power from the ERS at the back of that Alfa Romeo car, but there's not, it's not over yet because M Short, just further up the road, is on to the back of Connor. These guys have been fluctuating by about 3/10 to 7/10 between each other for a long time. Toxic finds a way past his teammate Verstappen there, and they are just beginning to drop more and more off of the soft runners. The C5 tyres are the softs, so they are going to be absolutely rapid. But they will not last forever. They are probably going to go off in a number of 2 or 3 laps at this rate.
I think I'll correct you there. If I'm right in saying the softs is actually C2, mediums are C3 and harder C4s, I think. If I'm not mistaken. I remember from the tyre graphic that we had in TTML, so that's why I'm just questioning that out on track. But just ignore them. Softs, mediums, hards, of course, are the 3 compounded tyres available. Verstappen, by the way, let through Toxic. Toxic has picked up a 3-second time penalty. Neo still with that 3-second time penalty as well. Nobody again really close enough, but Montana again, just a little bit of clear air. That's the fastest lap of the race. 17 flat from him. Alphatrix all the way down in 18. This is perfect scenario for Montana to try and win this, as Cohen absolutely sails on by Chapelletti, and Chapelletti now going to be under pressure from Rocco as the Haasman comes around the outside on the German. Round the outside he goes, and that is a very clean move there from Rocco, trying to get the move done. Chapelletti is still there, but the traction favours the brave, and Rocco is through. Kazizal, his teammate, though, trying to get through on Suku, locks up slightly in towards turn 4, still on the back of him for 7th. But great move there by Rocco when he's up into 14th. Chapelletti loses 2 positions in about as many corners.
Yeah, and that is just the power of the DRS around this circuit. And I'd like to correct myself earlier, it is actually the C4s that are the softs, C3 the mediums, and then C2 the hards. So I do know my stuff about F1, I promise you I'm not stupid. But yeah, at the front, looking back over there, Connor is just keeping this gap nice and tidy with M Short to the point where he cannot get close enough to utilise the DRS, and if he does, choose some of his DRS in return. So really they are at a stalemate where you just cannot find a move, and it seems like through the final couple of corners Connor is absolutely rapid in comparison to M Short, and yeah, he's just got superior grip and more confidence on the throttle, so that is just really what is working out for him. And if he can do that until the pit stop phase comes, then he will be sitting pretty for the lead of the Grand Prix later on.
There are the position changes out on track. Montana gets caught on the curb, coming once again out of turn 3. That might be his little bit, that might be the dagger in his heart, to be honest, in terms of mistakes out on track. Neo could try and exploit that to his advantage, possibly for 4th position out on track. Montana, of course, in 3rd, Neo in 4th. I'll clarify myself on there. And what does the commentator know about the compound of the tyres? Yeah, you've made me to be an absolute mug on my birthday, so well done for that. Connor leads. Short second. Montana third with Neo in fourth position. Daniel fifth, Suku sixth, Kazizzle in seventh. Larkin on the back of Killer Blue though. These guys of course on a set of medium compound of tyres, and most position changes by the way does go to Larkin. 7 positions has gained. He's on the back of Killer Blue. They've got Verstappen and Toxic coming back to them. Surely these guys are going to have a move, but they're stuck in that DRS train.
Yeah, when you're in a DRS train, it's really difficult to find an overtake on anyone else. There's M Short, the first driver into the pit lane, a little bit earlier than everyone else, and I believe he's the only soft runner out of the top 7 who has decided to bite the bullet.
Mediums.
He's going to get an undercut on Connor, and that is a confirmed 2-stop. Those mediums will not make it to the end. So yeah, the 2-stop seemingly quicker around this circuit, because look how short that pit lane is. When you get ejected from the box, you're basically already out on circuit. So
Jim down
yeah,
the inside of Schiaparelli, sorry to cut in. He tries to get the move done down in towards turn 1, but Schiaparelli hangs on. And on that set of mediums, you would imagine that June will try and exploit Schiaparelli, use up a little bit of overtake mode, try and get the move done then in towards turn 4, but June, I think, is just going to be content in sitting in behind Schiaparelli, and it's as we were.
And looking at the front, it looks like D. Daniel is beginning to drop back. Neo's actually beginning to drop back from Montana. Could be at the mercy of the two prancing horses, the Ferrari cars of D. Daniel and Suku. I actually saw a picture of D. Daniel's setup. It is beautiful. So that is going to be helping him in this Grand Prix. Get right into the back of the Renault car. And a big slide from the German there. Going to leave him at the mercy of D. Daniel. But you just can't find an overtake through here. We might be seeing some pit stops. Is Connor going to stay out? Yes, he does. And it looks like Neo's going to be the first one. And, and Suku as well.
And Kazizzle. Kazizzle right in behind as well. They're all into the pit lane. So we said about lap 9. Well, you said about lap 10 in terms of the tyre compound. It's lap 9. So we're pretty much quarter of the way through, and these guys, I would imagine, are going to be going 2-stop towards the end of the race, mediums to hard. Now, Stephen Trodden in the comment section has said 1-stop is quicker. 1-stop is quicker around this track, but it's just about the tyre degradation. Some of these guys might struggle with their tyre degradation. I think you're seeing, to be honest, why these guys are going onto a set of mediums. Now, they can last around this distance, around 28, 29 laps, but it's going to be a massive push, especially where they're going to be losing about 4% a lap out on track. Killer Blue's still on the back of Verstappen, and Verstappen has actually lost the DRS toe to Toxic just in front of him out on track, and Killer Blue looks a little bit quicker than Verstappen at this stage.
Yeah, well, the Williams driver has proven himself to be pretty handy in an F1 car in this season, so he could be onto the back of Verstappen very soon, but just 6/10 opening the DRS for this really short run. I don't even know why they put the DRS straight there, because there's pretty much no opportunity to make a move, as I believe that Connor's staying out, Montana's in though, Andy Daniel also coming in, so Connor going to try his tyres for one more lap. Could not... Not sure about that one. By the way, the two drivers that already have pitted, M Short is 3.8 seconds ahead of Neo.
Yeah, pit window open, I was just going to say, for Montana and D. Daniel. Them guys are fighting. Speaking of fights though, Larkin run on the back of Killer Blue, running down towards turn 1. Not close enough. Montana has gone onto a set of soft compound of tyres. D. Daniel has gone onto a set of mediums, and Neo is going to have D. Daniel. And look at Suku. Suku is closing in rapidly on Neo. Round the outside and towards turn 1 he goes. That is an absolute characteristic move from the pole. He absolutely sails on by down the straight, gets the outside move in towards turn 1. Neo's not done with. He's going to try and come back, but Suku with that DRS is going to have the run in towards turn 4, and he sweeps round D. Daniel, his teammate, and has put a car in between himself and his teammate. How crucial is that? Suku's got double. He's undercut both Neo, D. Daniel, and I think Kazizzle as well.
I believe Kazizzle was behind the pair of them, but Kazizzle actually really caught up to them, and now, as I say that, he's got a 3-second time penalty for too many track limits. And was that Connor? Yes, it is. The last of the soft runners coming to the pit lane who have not made a stop. So they're hard.
No, to mediums. Mediums. My eyesight's going.
It scared me there. I thought Connor might have thrown away the race.
Well, he goes on to a set of mediums, but there is Montana. Montana's coming out the final corner. I think Montana's got this, you know. Connor is going to have the advantage of coming out the pit lane, but there he is. There's Montana, there's Connor, and Montana on a set of softs. That's why he went onto the set of softs, to try and commit for the race lead. But in fact, He is not in the race lead at the minute, the net race lead, because M Short is in the net race lead, and he's just ahead of him out on track as we now come through. Turns 2 and 3 once again, and Montana is going to make light work, I fear, of M Short. He just needs to use up the DRS. He switches to the inside line, and on fresher compounder tyres, it is an absolute easy move. Montana is through. He's now into the net lead of the race, but he's up into 11th out on track.
Yeah, easy enough overtake using the DRS. Didn't even need to use much DRS for that move there. So really brilliant stuff from Montana. Now on the softs, it's not the ideal strategy. Probably if you're going to go for a two-stop, go soft, medium. But if he can make this work, then I see no reason why he shouldn't. But maybe he could have gone onto the mediums and then the softs later on when he's lighter on fuel. He'll be a lot quicker than everyone else if they choose to go onto the softs. So he might be bottlenecking himself later on into the Grand Prix, but only time will play that out.
I'm glad it took you 3 times to say bottlenecking there.
I'm sorry.
Montana sets the new fastest lap of the race. We are a third of the way through here in League of Europe Division 1. Thank you so much for tuning in here at Mexico City, Mexico. D. Daniel now beginning to close up on Neo running down the straight. This is for 15th out on track, but he's not close enough down in towards turn 1. In fact, nobody is close enough down in towards turn 1, and we remain as we are currently at the back of the field. But let's have a look then at what Montana has done. I think Connor, to be honest, should have responded onto a set of soft compounder tyres. Now that he's done that, though, Montana's going to be running mediums, Connor's going to be running softs right at the end of this race. Who do you think is going to have the distinct advantage? Connor is going to be quicker than Montana later on in the race, but Montana, because he's pulling out the advantage now, is it going to be too much of an advantage for Connor to make up?
I'm not too sure. Those softs won't last for a long time in comparison to the mediums as to how strong they are. So Montana, whilst he looks really quick at the moment, that won't probably be the same kit situation about 4 laps in the future from now. Yeah, Connor just needs to keep consistent. He is dropped out of the DRS range of M Short there in front of him, so M Short really is in the driving seat. We're not really considering him too much, and I believe there's Montana looking for the move on Dakar.
Trying to go around the outside of turn 2. Yeah, Montana getting the move done on Dakar further down the field. Verstappen just parks that car, and Killer Blue could not find a way through there, but he could find a way through on the one down towards turn 4. Just needs to use up the bit of overtake mode. He does. He now dives it down the inside and towards turn 4. Can he get the car stopped? He falls to Verstappen out wide. Verstappen's going to have the traction on the inside. Now let's Larkin through on the inside, and Killer Blue's going to lose out big time here. Larkin is through and he's up into P3. Killer Blue bullied out of the position by Verstappen, and that is why you do not go 2x2 going through turn 5, because you're always going to leave one driver on the outside of the track, and Killer Blue has lost a position to Larkin as a result.
Yeah, Marcel, that was happening. There was some shake-ups going down further at the back. Daniel found a way past Neo, and Kazizzle tried to stick his nose in there.
Oh, goodness me, he was close to the back of Rocco there. Down the inside and towards turn 13. He picks up a 3-second time penalty for his troubles. That's why they're trying to give as much room as possible. 3-second time penalty being picked up. Rocco on a set of mediums into the pit lane. Verstappen on a set of mediums into the pit lane. And now Montana has got Schiaparelli in his slipstream to possibly try and get this move done. Kuka Games now closing up on Killer Blue. This is 4, P3 and 4 out on track, but I don't think Kuka Games is close enough. Somebody that is close enough, though, is Connor, and he absolutely sails on by an M Short, and now he's into net P2.
Yeah, Talmon really looking like a hotspot for overtakes, and M Short not going to have the luxury of a DRS assistance that Connor has, and Doom on Campbell, and that's an easy enough overtake. Campbell unfortunately pitting earlier on in the Grand Prix, I believe on lap number 1. He's really just not having a good race today, and Doom finds a way past on his fresh medium tyres.
Campbell's picked up a 3-second time penalty. We'll give you a penalties update now. You can see the extent of the penalties that everyone has picked up. Toxic has got 6. Kuka Games has got 6, Schiaparelli has got 9, but looking behind, here comes Montana, possibly down for the in move, down the inside and towards turn 13. He dives it very late on the brakes, nearly costs my voice. He runs Schiaparelli out wide. Schiaparelli is not going to be happy with that at all, and nearly goes careering into the side of him, but Montana is through, and he's up into P6. Schiaparelli really had to give way there, because on a set of fresh softs, Montana is now into what will be, I think, net P... Oh, he's into P2 now out on track, and he soon will be into the lead of the race. I think that move, though, could have been a little bit cleaner.
Yeah, and Chapelelli really wasn't happy about it because he almost immediately responded. There was a bit of contact between the pair of them, but luckily for all of us, we didn't see a crash. And Montana's race was ruined, and look at this, a really good exit in comparison to Cohen. This for the race lead, old mediums against pretty much fresh softs. Should be an easy enough move down the inside for Montana, and now he moves into the race lead, and it is 4 seconds the gap back to Connor, who is in net P2 at the moment. Of course, Cohen and Chapelelli yet to pit, but Chapelelli could stay out for a number of laps yet, of course, on those hard tyres, so he'll probably be a little bit of cork in the bottle for Connor once he catches the Mercedes driver.
I like that. I like that. Cork in the bottle. I might steal that for next week. Montana leading the way from Cohen in second, Chapelelli in third, Connor in fourth. Let's have a look, though. Gap to the leader. Connor is 4 seconds behind Montana, basically. These guys are separated by about that amount out on track. Now, 4 seconds is not really the advantage that I thought Montana would actually get out. I thought he would have been a lot further ahead than what he actually is. Are we already starting to see, possibly, the mediums begin to overturn the softs in terms of the amount of pace? Because these softs really don't last that long.
Yeah, and you also have to think about how much Montana has been pushing, and he's probably exhausted the tyres completely. You can even see, based on the ERS, how they've been pushing. 12% on board Montana, and then 54 for Connor. He has been a master of saving his ERS throughout the season of all the races that he's done. I definitely don't think that Montana is out of the picture, but without down in 19th, he only needs P2 in this race.
Cazzizzle tries to go down the inside. He could get switched back coming through turn 5. Rocco was out. Rocco has crashed through turn 4, exactly the same place in qualifying. Kuka Games has gone through on Killer Blue, and there's a VSC. Kuka Games gets that move done on Killer Blue just before the VSC comes out, so he takes 12th position, the final point scoring position out on track, and now with the VSC deployed, all of that gaps and all of that overtaking has now been eroded away. They, of course, have got to stick to 40% their normal speed, and that means those guys, as the car is actually being cleared, so I think we'll get back underway very soon indeed. Montana leads from Chapelelli in second, Connor in third, but the trouble is now, everyone has got to stick to their delta. Now, they don't stick to the delta of the driver in front of them, like Killer Blue is doing. They have to stick to their own delta, so Killer Blue can only go as quick, basically, as Kuka Games just ahead of him. And with Killer Blue still being on the back of him, retrospectively coming through the baseball section, if the VSC was to end now, he'll be right on the back of him, coming down the straight. So Alphatrix has got a drive through for a speeding under the VSC. And Cazzizzle has got a great run down in towards turn 1 as well. And he's through, is he? Down in towards P6? Yes, he is. Cazzizzle is through. The master of Baku in Esports Masters League now gets the move done. He's up into 6th position. Neo right on the back of this as well, but now Cazzizzle pulls away. Verstappen is now through on his teammate, and he is through and he's up into 9th. Toxic trying to fight it back on the run up towards turn 4 once again. It's good to see QVR against a former TTG member, of course, in Toxic, fighting it out. 9th and 10th for the two AlphaTauris. Looking further down the field, Montana has just picked up a 3-second time penalty, and I think that was through the S section.
Oh, that could be a bit costly later on in the Grand Prix in comparison to Connor. Yet to get a penalty, but it's quite easy to do here. We're almost at the halfway point of the Grand Prix, so I would expect him to probably find at least 3 seconds of time penalties at some point. But yeah, Alphatrix just so disappointing. It's silly a mistake for speeding under VSC, but a second drive through in this Grand Prix, could that be his yet done and dusted?
Montana, because of that drive-through, Alphatrix has got to hope for a safety car out on track. It's as simple as that. I cannot see any possibility for Alphatrix trying to win this race now or get alone in the top 12. Never mind trying to win this. So Alphatrix's championship hopes could be going, and it could be, as I said at the start of the stream, the 28th of November 2020 could be crowning a second championship victory for Montana. But nothing is said and done in F1. We're more than halfway through. Montana leads from Chapelelli in second, Connor third, M Short in fourth, Suku in fifth. Just thought I'd get a little bit of plugs out there for later on. We've got Division 2 and Division 5 going to be live from 8 UK time. And also, I'm proud to announce League of Europe are going to be going onto Assetto Corsa. So if you want to be setting, you want to get onto Assetto Corsa Competizione on PS4, you can. You can sign up within the League of Europe Discord, of course. If you don't have access, I'm sure somebody will be able to give you a link if you are very much interested in racing in PS4 ACC. And I believe we're also going on to PSC for ACC as well. So we're going to have 2 championships, basically for the price of one. And buy one, get one free, basically.
Well, I'll be doing the PC Assetto Corsa commentary. I've offered to do so. Hopefully I'll get that opportunity once all my the build has started. But yeah, enough of Assetto Corsa. Let's focus on F1. Joom is onto the back of Killer Blue for 13th position, but Killer Blue just getting that DRS on Cookie Games off in front of him, and Cookie Games, as he said, he's right to the back of Larkin. No DRS for Larkin on Toxic off ahead, and the hard tyres could be in favour of the Slovenian, if I'm not mistaken. But here he is now on Larkin. He's not going to use any overtake. He might not need it. It's now coming into turn number 5. He's gone for it. Oh my goodness.
He's gone way too deep, shooting Larkin around the outside. He's been forced out of that one. Larkin picked up a 3-second time penalty. That's a really unfair penalty, if I've got to be honest. Cookie Games forcing Larkin out wide. It should have been the former rather than the latter getting the penalty, I think, for that. Cookie Games into 11th, but I think that will get investigated and Larkin might get that 3-second time penalty removed, because don't get me wrong, Cookie Games was entitled to try and go for the move. The gap was there. He went for it. Larkin realised he was coming, and Larkin just on the outside of the track, just unfortunate in picking up a 3-second time penalty. Connor is on the back of Schiaparelli, running down in towards turn 1. They're side by side running down in towards turn 1, and Connor should get the move done. Schiaparelli tries to stick his ear in. Connor just misjudges it slightly to make a little bit of contact, and that is Connor through, and he's up into 2nd position. And now M Short right on the back. He is going for overtake first and tries to go around the outside of Schiaparelli defence to the inside line. Joom and Killer Blue are fighting down the straight as well, but M Short on the inside line gets the move done, surely nearly similar to Cookie Games and Larkin just a lap ago, but it is the Racing Point this time that comes out on top, and M Short is through and he's up into 3rd.
I just don't think that this is Schiaparelli's fight to actually have. He's costing himself and Connor and M Short time. So realistically, no one is benefiting from him fighting. They were going to get by eventually, but Schiaparelli now down into 4th position. He might start thinking about a pit stop very soon. I'd assume work a lap 23 is probably when he'd come in for a set of mediums, or he could stretch it out and try and go for the
Montana's in. Montana's in. I was seeing the gap coming down. I was just going to say, I was going to see the gap coming down, and Montana is into the pit lane from the lead of the race. M Short, no, that's Schiaparelli into the pit lane, and he's picked up a 5-second penalty. Montana now onto a set of mediums till the end of the race. Connor now has to try and exploit any sort of differentiation he has got in Montana. Remember, the gap was about 4 seconds before he came into the pit lane. Montana is going to be out, maybe in a gaggle of cars, as Verstappen has got the overspeed down in towards turn 1, but Montana is out ahead, and Verstappen not even going to close up to the back of Montana. Montana is in clear out as Joom has just got the move done on Larkin, and that is down the inside of turn 1 down the straight, and that is for P10. Can Joom realistically try and get those tyres to the end of the race? Because he's on 7-lap old tyres, as now Toxic is going to pull to the outside line to get Verstappen, and Verstappen just lets him through. Toxic through, and he's up into 7th. But back to who was I on board with? Joom. That's him right on the back of Cookie Games. Can you see him realistically trying to get to the end? Connor's only on 2-lap older tyres than him.
Well, Joom can't go to the end because he's done 2 sets of mediums in this race, so he has to pit for another compound tyre. That's probably going to be the softs at the end of the Grand Prix, but he's in a really good position at the moment. He's just looking on top of this game, and I believe he's one of the only drivers without a point, if I'm not mistaken. He's not finished in the top 12 in Division 1 this season.
Oh my goodness! Schiaparelli diving it down the inside of Cohen. He's getting a bit aggressive, I think, out on track now. Schiaparelli just has to calm it down. He doesn't want to go for moves that are not really going to be there. He's on a fresh set of mediums. Just bide your time. Literally bide your time and wait. He's on the back of Cohen, and Schiaparelli actually is in a really promising position later on in this race, because everyone ahead of him is basically either going to be overtaken, or they're going to have to pit. Here comes Schiaparelli on the back of Cohen. He's using up every sinew of that overtake mode down the inside and towards turn 1. Cohen lets him go this time, and Schiaparelli is through. See what waiting does? He gets the move done and he's up into 12th.
Yeah, Schiaparelli's actually in a really brilliant position because he's on the fresh medium tyres. He's going to the end on that set, and you can see Kazizel Neo, they've just made their pit stops. They started inside the top 5. Schiaparelli's basically overcut these guys. I believe he started all the way down in 16th position, did Schiaparelli. So this has been a brilliant race. Granted, it's been a bit of a argy-bargy one in the terms of how he's got on, but name change he's been nowhere after his early spin. Here's Schiaparelli onto the back of Killer Blue. You can see the difference in grip at this moment in time. The fresh medium's already up to temperature. Is he going to try and send a move? I hope he doesn't, because he's waiting for him, and he's right onto the back of him, and he is trying to pressurise Killer Blue so much, and he goes on the inside. He's gone too deep there, and surely Killer Blue's going to try and make a switch. No, he's made the move. Brilliant from Schiaparelli. Really aggressive, getting the elbows out, and he moves into 11th. So great overtake from him, and now he'll be onto the back of Larkin very shortly.
Gets the elbows out. I'm not really happy with that move. He shouldn't have really gone for that. But elbows out, as you see. M Short is coming out right on these Gagala cars. He's made a second pit stop, and he's now behind Killer Blue, and he's just ahead of Cohen coming out the pit lane. So he's being caught up in the wrong place at the wrong time. And Schiaparelli, crucially with that little bit of clear air, he got the move done on Killer Blue. He wanted to try and get the move done because that's the reason why. M Short is now behind Killer Blue. One more overtake for M Short as the yellow flag in Sector 3. Campbell retires coming into the pit lane. A disastrous race from our winner in Singapore a couple of weeks ago. And Campbell is the second retirement out of this race. M Short, though, on the back. Killer Blue makes a mistake, and M Short is through. And I think, to be honest, Killer Blue let him through and let him have that one.
Yeah, that was a fair enough move, and now those guys can get to fighting Schiaparelli with a little bit more worn tyres, but it is only one lap and a little bit at this point. Of course, fully fresh for M Short, so he'll be onto the back of Larkin. M Short's teammate could also be a bit of a roadblock, and now there's more yellow flags on those. That is just Campbell coming out the pit lane. Understandable why he retired. He was not having a good race at all. And Waluigi's just said in the chat, Alphatrix has never finished outside the points in, I don't know if that's in the entirety of the League of Europe. There's Schiaparelli on the inside of Larkin, easy enough move. But the first race that he's finishing without points could be the race he loses the championship in. That is quite cruel to hear.
But then again, to be honest, Alphatrix was in a very similar position to this last season as Verstappen is now through, and Toxic and Kuka Games have got a tremendous run on the sister car of Toxic, and he's through and he's up the inside in towards into P6, I should say. Through turn 4, he gets the move done. Kuka Games is through on Toxic. Toxic loses 2 positions for the price of 1 there. And crucial because Kuka Games is on fresher tyres than Verstappen ahead of him. And now he has got really good pace to try and last these towards the end of the race. But they're going to be at fear of Schiaparelli and of M Short ahead. Kuka Games flying through. Lap fresher tyres is just the difference between you gaining on the car ahead and you just losing the time. And in Verstappen's case, he lost the time there out on track. But yeah, I've got to be honest, I think Alphatrix hasn't scored outside the points in any of his races this season, certainly from my perspective, and last season as well in League of Europe. But Louis was in a very similar position to Alphatrix last season. Alphatrix sadly won the championship. Louis did everything right so far this season. Kuka Games is through on Verstappen. Schiaparelli now down the inside on Doom. That is late on the brakes, and that is a great move from Schiaparelli down the inside. The talk about him being aggressive had just been dumbfounded. He's through and he's up into 7th. Oh my God almighty, he nearly spun the car. Jeez Louise, he nearly lost that, and now Doom has a go back down the inside, but not close enough. And Schiaparelli somehow hangs on to P7, but that was one scary moment.
Well, I just think that Schiaparelli might need to pack it in at this point, try and have a couple of laps where it doesn't almost spin the car, but he is right onto the back of Toxic and Verstappen. Hopefully, I am praying that he doesn't try and make a move like he did on Killer Blue all those laps ago, because if Killer Blue didn't react in the way that he did, which was not hitting him, then there would have been no front wing.
Oh, Kazizel trying to go down the inside. Literally, as you were saying there, Schiaparelli trying to go for the move on Toxic. Kazizel nearly got the move done on Cohen, right in the same position as where Schiaparelli tried to dive down the inside. Schiaparelli, by the way, has got 14 seconds worth of penalties, and now Kazizel is on the back. M Short is trying to close in on Schiaparelli, but Schiaparelli now trying to close in on Toxic. Out there for P5 He's not close enough, but we could have 3 wide running down the straight. Here comes Kazizel. Killer Blue's going to lose 2 positions, possibly. Down the inside goes Kazizel. Not quite. There's a yellow flag in sector 1, and Schiaparelli's round. Schiaparelli is round, coming through turn 1. He's lost his front wing. He's got a tray, I should say, out on track. He leaves the session in frustration. Not really sure what occurred there, but here comes Kazizel down the inside and towards Killer Blue, and there's a safety car. And Kazizel got that move done right on the safety car deployment, and Kazizel's through and he's up into 9th. Safety car out in play. Everyone now coming for Salad Softs. 10 laps to the end. A sprint awaits us in Mexico, and Alphatrix could have a chance, possibly, to pick up points.
Well, Connor's been given a free pit stop right here. Look at him now into the pit lane. And he is, there's no doubt in anyone's mind that he'll come out in ahead of Montana. Easy pit stop for him. He was already thinking about it because Daniel and Suku had just pitted. Those two will be kicking themselves that they pitted when they did, because little did they know that a safety car was going to come out. But of course, hindsight is a wonderful thing. So Connor's going to be leading this race.
Verstappen's staying out because Toxic come into the pit lane behind him. Yeah. That's why. So the AlphaTauri having to really just commit himself for an extra lap and then pit in, possibly underneath another safety car for another lap at least. And Verstappen now will have to come into the pit lane next time around. Connor though does lead. Everyone you can see there going onto the set of soft compound of tyres. Suku has jumped Montana, by the way, which is a strange one. And Suku actually pitted in a lap before the safety car, so that's why he's ahead of him.
Yeah, I would have thought that it would have been a bad thing that he pitted before, but well, here he is now. He could have been in a better position than he was. He could have been right up with Connor in second position, but of course he's got to navigate through Neo, Killer Blue, M Short, and Verstappen. M Short staying out as well. I guess all those guys that just pitted, they wanted to commit to the tyres, but I'd expect now they have to stay out. Then they shouldn't make another pit stop here because of they'll be on the same pace as everyone else, but they'll be losing so much track position. So I guess it might be smart to stay out here and just try and see if they can maintain the positions that they're in. Maybe get 9th or 10th or 11th or 12th rather than 14th or 15th at the end of the day.
So we will have 9 more laps to go after the end of this lap, and it is Connor who does lead the way because of a very fortunate safety car. Schiaparelli retiring out on track, or leaving the session I should say, out on track, causing the safety car. To be honest, you do not see a safety car in real life from somebody leaving the session. This is all part of the sim racing experience. So unfortunate, I think, but the virtual Burt Marlander doing his job, and there he goes through camera shot onto lap 28 out of 36. Connor leads from Verstappen in second. Verstappen, mistakenly, I think he's going to try and go to the end on these tyres now, because Toxic came out in P9. That's a massive gamble from Verstappen, and a massive gamble also for Killer Blue later on in this race. And M Short and Neil's tyres aren't going to be that great either towards the end.
No, they're going to be an absolute sitting duck, really. To all the soft runners behind, they can certainly make it to the end once the safety car comes in, which I would expect to be this lap. Alphatrix and Schiaparelli's ghost car. Schiaparelli's not back in the session. He's still ghosted. He probably could have hopped back in, but yeah, he did kind of cause the safety car, so I think he might get slapped on the wrist by the stewards and could have a penalty coming his way for actually causing the safety car. If he'd just driven the car back to the pits, then retired, or left indeed, he probably would have been fine in that regard. So yeah, might not be the best display from Schiaparelli, but hopefully he'll learn from what happened today.
Yeah, we all learn from our mistakes, and I'm sure Schiaparelli will be back fresh as a daisy next week. The safety car may come into the pit lane this lap, and maybe next lap. Alphatrix and Schiaparelli's AI car are still not on the back of the safety car, so I think we might see the safety car lights go out. It's normally from about this point onwards, through the third sector split, where we normally see the safety car lights go out, but we haven't, which suggests to me that we've got another lap underneath the safety car. So that's going to create 7 laps to the end of the race. Oh, as soon as I say that, the safety car now comes back in. Absolutely brilliant. Connor then is now the safety car. It's a very late safety car call into the pit lane, if I've got to be honest. Alphatrix has now joined on and latched on to the back of the queue, But Connor now, he says go. Verstappen has got a penalty though with a severe collision in behind, but we're back on the way, and Connor leads across the line from Verstappen in second. M Short in third. A poor start from M Short. Suku is right on the back of Neo. You look at him, he's trying to get heat into the tyres, the pole. Right on the back of the German, and he tries to get the move done down in towards turn one. Here he comes, Suku. Can he get the move done? Watch out for Montana in behind as well. Suku down the inside of Neo. Gets the move done, I think. Yeah, forces him out of position. Montana ran the outside through turn two. Brilliant stuff. And Neo is an absolute sitting duck. I'm not sure what on earth has happened to Neo. Neo is dropping down all the way through the field. Kuka Games and Toxic now on the right-hand side of him. Coming through turn four. Toxic around the outside. D. Daniel has now gone through on him. And it's literally Groundhog Day. Neo is dropping like an absolute stone. And it's causing a massive Constantine effect then behind. Neo just decides to get out of the way. That's the best course of action as June gets the move done around the outside of Cohen to maintain the position for 11th. What a restart. Connor leads, Verstappen second, M Short third, Killer Blue in fourth. But goodness me, Neo dropped like an absolute stone.
Well, slapped about completely by everyone else. And
here comes Kazizzle. Kazizzle's down the inside line of Cohen. Doesn't go for the move. He's got to wait for the DRS, and everyone is going to be stuck in a bit of a DRS train. Carry on, Dan.
Well, yeah, it was a bit of a lapsus sort of moment there, but now Suku onto the back of Killer Blue. No DRS until they cross the line next time by.
He doesn't need it.
I don't think Suku needs any of it because here he comes down the straightaway.
No, it does Montana.
Oh my goodness me, Montana 3 wide down the straightaway now on towards turn number one. Neo retires in the pit lane. Here it is side by side into turn number one. It's Montana around the outside of Suku. And what an overtake. Opportunity spot and opportunity conquered. That is Montana up into pole position and now... Oh,
no, sorry. Dakar has been overtaken, I should say, by Cohen, Kazizzle and Name Changer, I think, out on track. Those he'd spun, he just lost quite a few positions out on track. That's my fault.
That's frustrating for him, but the sector one yellow flags from retiring pit lane probably weren't going to be the most helpful thing in the world for you, but now Killer Blue, he's going to feel the absolute wrath of D. Daniel, Toxic and Cookie Games.
Here comes Montana. Montana's right on the back of M Short, coming in towards turn 13. He dives it down the inside, and that is the champion's move right there from Montana. What a brilliant overtake. He is putting on an overtaking masterclass. He did 2 for 1 then in towards turn 1, and now he's just got a tremendous move down the inside of turn 13. And now Montana is hunting down Verstappen. The only thing that's going to work not in his favour is the penalties, because Connor has got 5 seconds, Montana has got 3. He's got to gain 2 seconds on Connor, and Montana has run out of the EOS running down the straight. He's not going to be close enough to Verstappen this time around. Suku is closing on M Short. Killer Blue is side by side with Toxic. D. Daniel, I think, is through, and he's up into 6th on Toxic. But my God, race of the season candidate could be coming. Here comes Montana now on the back of Verstappen, trying to use every sinew. Could he dive it down the inside? No, he tries to go all the way around the outside. Masterclass of overtaking round the outside through turn 4. That is absolutely sensational. I don't care if Verstappen is on 16-lap old tyres. Everyone behind him, bang, bang, bang. 3 shots to the heart. Montana's through and he's up into 2nd.
I've gone the entire season wanting you to say that one, and I'm glad. Because Montana is in a championship winning position, but it is not over for Verstappen. His troubles could continue with M Short and Suku behind him.
Kuka Games is running the outside of Killer Blue. This is for 8th, trying to go around the outside of turn 13. Brilliant stuff. Brilliant racing here in Mexico. This is what I wanted for my birthday. This is brilliant stuff here in Mexico. Larkin is now through, I think, on Kazizzle, if I'm not mistaken, as well. He's up into P10. And Suku running the back of M Short. M Short is dropping like a stone, possibly. Down the straight, D. Daniel has to cut out of the slipstream. Toxic now could get the run on these guys. Now M Short and Verstappen is going to be a sitting duck running down the straight, 3 wide and towards turn 1. M Short and Suku. Suku dives it down the inside. Has he got the car stopped? No. M Short's on the outside line of him, but Suku hangs on. Brilliant stuff by Suku, and he's up into 3rd. He gets 2 for 1. D. Daniel runs into the back. It's all kicking off here in Mexico. Toxic now to the outside line of D. Daniel. C somehow is still in this, trying to go around the outside of D. Daniel. Now on the inside of M Short. That's a little bit aggressive. He needs to let him back through, I think. But now down through turn 7, Toxic has got 2 for 1. Down the inside in towards turn 7. He gets the move done into P4. Please take over. My voice is going. Juma's round.
And now yellow flags, and that is Juma round, unfortunately. But now it might not be over for M Short, because here comes D Daniel. The DRS is enabled for the Ferrari. You can see the overspeed that he's got. Is he going to try and dive down the inside? That would be a bit rambunctious from him. Meanwhile,
Name Changer
making the move. What's happening? There's Name Changer. He's found himself in a good position, and now up the inside, and he's managed to fight. Oh, sorry, around the outside, I believe it was, but he's made the move on Killer Blue. I'm losing all my thoughts, and here we go for another round of lap 33. D Daniel onto the back of M Short, and Cookie Games not too far behind. There's Larkin trying to make the move, Verstappen for 8th position, and here comes D Daniel just onto the back of M Short. He can't find the speed. Is he going to try and send it down the inside? He's just going to hang back for a little bit longer. But what about Larkin? Not Verstappen. Oh, my goodness me.
Larkin has to hang on for the position. Verstappen now gets bullied really out of the traction zone, and Kazizel and Name Changer through. Here comes Kazizel on the back of Larkin. Cookie Games on the back of D Daniel. Cookie Games switches to the inside line. He dummies him down the inside and towards turn 4. Goodness me, this is absolutely unreal stuff. D Daniel, Cookie Games forced out wide. He rejoins track ahead. He needs to let D Daniel back through, I think. Cookie Games is through into the 6th, but that is an illegal move around the outside. Larkin is through though, and he's up into P8 past Kazizel.
Yeah, I'm not sure if D Daniel will be too happy about that one. He was looking off the circuit, but he's just going to have to maybe bring that to the steward. Cookie Games will find himself in 6th position. I think we're allowed a little bit of a break in the action now, because well, it really has kicked off here at the end of the race. The safety car caused by Schiaparelli has completely thrown every strategy out the window, and it's given us an absolute treat on your birthday. I think it is just that is just perfect, isn't it?
It's what I wanted. It's a late birthday present nonetheless, but it could be a race of the season candidate nonetheless. M Short tries to close in now on Toxic. Down the inside comes Cookie Games as well, trying to late break, but not quite close enough. Cohen is on the back, and for the first time in about 3-4 laps, we see a lack of overtaking down in towards turn 1. But that being said, Cookie Games has got a tremendous run on the back of M Short now, trying to cut to the inside line. Is he going to dummy him down the inside? You bet he is. He nearly goes into the back of Toxic, but that is a sensational move from Cookie Games. Former Division 2 champion, former Division 2 driver last season. I think he finished runner-up last season in Division 2. He is showing why he is in Division 1 this season, and he gets the move done on M Short. And M Short, to be honest, is probably on the same lap time, same tyres, I should say, in terms of the tyre wear as Cookie Games ahead. But Cookie Games has just made it look quite easy, and he's through, and he's up into 5th position, and he's now got his sister car, the AlphaTauri of Toxic, just ahead. Cohen right on the back of Killer Blue as well. Very close, not quite close enough.
Yeah, Cookie Games really has just come alive in the latter part of this race, and now with the DRS on Toxic, he could be in for a top 4 finish. You can see how he's just trying to get a little bit of heat into the tyres, and yeah, he's just sticking onto the back of him. Look at the overspeed. He's got 200 kilometers per hour, an easy overtake for Cookie Games. He gets it before the corner even comes, and I believe D Daniel's trying to make a move on M Short, but he just has to stick behind for the time being. M Short still not in the best of positions in comparison to the softs. They've still got some life left in them, and all that Kazizel lighting up the rears behind. He's almost spun the entire car around, but he's somehow held on to that one, and it is still going on.
Killer Blue as well down the inside of Verstappen. These two guys on a set of hard compound of tyres. Verstappen is putting on a defensive masterclass for 11th position, trying to wrap up these points. Look at the penalties out on track. Goodness knows where this is going to go. Cookie Games has got 23 seconds worth of penalties. Schiaparelli, I think he had about 17 seconds the last time I looked. Of course, I think his AI has been into the pit lane. Goodness knows what's going to happen, but what I can tell you, Connor is going to win this one out on track, because he's got onto the final lap of the race a 7-second advantage over Montana, and Montana is going to wrap up the championship as it stands. Alphatrix has got no penalties though. That could be the crucial factor. Alphatrix could go right up the field, and Montana might not have anything to do about it at all. Running down the straight for the final time, Name Changer goes past Kazizel. The two FRL boys now going at it, and Name Changer is through. Kazizel tries to get back into the slipstream, but doesn't. A Name Changer, the FRL leader of the championship, I should say, he's through, and he's up into 10th. went Verstappen, and Killer Blue around the outside of Verstappen, gets the move done through turn 1. Brilliant stuff. Verstappen now on the inside line, trying to get the move done. There's so much going on. Cohen now in this, and Cohen on the outside line of Verstappen. Dakar involved in this. Alphatrix has just got to be careful. He's just got to sit and wait in behind these guys. Everyone has got 3, 6, 12 seconds in terms of penalties, and Alphatrix is going to be gaining big time in terms of the penalty situation. Connor, though, is coming around the final couple of corners, and the confetti is already out. They may as well show the British flag instead of the flag of Mexico, because Connor has put on a sensational drive. The safety car has helped him. Connor across the line to win here in Mexico. 5-second time penalty. Ignore that, because Montana is going to cross the line in second, regardless of this 5-second penalty. And in the end, Suku could end up ahead of Montana. Across the line he comes, and he doesn't. He's 2.3 seconds off. Though the unfold game, Kooky Games is going to fall right down the field. Where is Alphatrix in all this? Alphatrix now 15th up to 7th. And I think that is not enough for Montana to wrap up the championship. Oh my God.
If Montana won that Grand Prix and Alphatrix got 7th position like he did, then that would have been the championship. He needed 18 points over the Williams car. The championship fight continues into the last couple of rounds. Unbelievable stuff.
That is an absolutely brilliant race, but Connor takes his first win of the season, and he does it here, round 16 of the championship. My voice, as you can tell, is going because of that voice crack, but Connor has won. Montana is second. Suku, ever the consistent man, getting onto the podium places to finish in third. Absolutely unreal stuff. If that's not Formula One, I don't know what is.
I'm almost speechless at the end of that one, and I'm sad it's over, but I'm glad it's happened. What a brilliant performance from Connor and Montana. He just couldn't get the championship wrapped up today. But look at that fastest lap coming up.
Wow.
From Connor, 14.6. He's got to be the driver of the day. A Grand Chelem drive from him, I believe.
Yep. Pole, fastest lap, the win, Grand Slam for Connor out on track. He wins and he beats Montana. Suku in third, M. Short in fourth, with D. Daniel in fifth. Larkham was voted driver of the day by the in-game fans in sixth from 18th on the grid. See why not? Alphatrix up into seventh, Cohen in eighth, Toxic in ninth, Killer Blue 10th, Dakar into 11th, with Name Changer filling out on his debut in 12th. Kazizel in 13th. Those were the point scorers, by the way, for the top 12. Kazizel 13th, Verstappen 14th, Kooky Games 15th, all the way from 3rd, all the way down to 15th in the end. Doom 16th, Schiaparelli not completely under his own regard in 17th, Neo and Campbell, the two out of the three that DNF'd, and the other one that DNF'd was... somebody. It was somebody, I know that.
Was it Campbell? No, someone else was type before.
Rocco. It was Rocco.
Rocco, that's it, yeah.
Under the VSC, yeah, Rocco underneath the VSC, of course, retiring and crashing through turn number 3. Oh, my goodness me. We're going to do it all over again next week here in League of Europe Division 1. If you've been whetted your appetite even further, Division 2 and Division 5 are going to be live in just 10 minutes' time. It's Dakar and Verstappen taking you through Division 2. And for Division 5, I believe it's either been Mike by himself tonight. And he's going to be taking through the Division 5 action out on track. But Dan, I'll cut across to you before I get the calendar up. Who was your driver of the day?
There is a toss-up between a couple of them. I'm going to say, I really can't pick one, to be honest with you, but I'm going to go with 3 if that's all right. Is that
3?
Allowed?
That's allowed.
3. Alright, I'm going to say Connor one of them, just for absolutely dominating the field. I'm going to say Toxic for keeping his nose out of trouble. And I'm also going to say Alphatrix for overcoming all of his struggles. He got 2 drive-through penalties and somehow he brought it back. The safety car, granted, did help him quite a lot, but he kept the championship alive, and that is a true statement as to why you should never give up in league racing. Just
calculating up the points here, Montana is on 315 going into next week. Alphatrix in second because he finished 7th. Of course, penalties might still dictate this. Alphatrix finishing in 7th. I believe he picks up, as a result of that, because of the extended point system, I believe he still picks up 6 points. So that means 45 points going into the final 2 rounds of the season. Montana has got one hand on the crown. Alphatrix needs a miracle. Can he dethrone a potential 2-time champ next week at the United Arab Emirates around the Abu Dhabi circuit? You are going to be in for an absolute treat. Brazil, of course, rounding off the season here in League of Europe. I really hope you've enjoyed it. We brought you your normality on Saturday night, and I hope to God you are all keeping safe. Really, really keep safe. Keep an eye on your family and keep sane. For goodness sake, keep sane. Because if that race absolutely delivered out on track, we're going to do it all over again next week for the penultimate round of the championship at the United Arab Emirates at the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. The Yes Marina circuit awaits for our 20 drivers here in Division 1. For myself and Daniel Field, thank you so much for watching here in Division 1 tonight, and we will see you next week for the penultimate round of the championship. Goodbye.